Welcome to Three Questions with Commercial Integrator. Today we have Maris Ensing of MAD Systems joining us. Maris, thank you so much for taking the time.
You're very welcome.
So 3 questions. My first question is, what is Quicksilver?
So Quicksilver is the ongoing development of a brand new audiovisual system. It's something that we've wanted to do for a long time, and a number of things fell in place. Computers got smaller and they suddenly got to the point where we're looking at them and you're talking about minute little things that would perform most of what we would want an AV system to do. Then we looked at laser projectors. That was a massive change. Not only when they first came out, but particularly at some point about 2 years ago when the price suddenly dropped and they became a commodity item. And we really started to look at things, and we felt that there were enough things that had come together for us to be able to put together a complete brand new design for the purpose AV system that would not only be affordable, but would save a lot of money on infrastructure because we went the wireless route. It can be wired, but we can do a wireless system, which obviously saves an enormous amount of money on infrastructure and that kind of thing. And the other main thing was that we didn't want to use anything that was proprietary. We wanted to buy equipment that we know people are going to be able to get for the next 20 some years. Yes, it'll be smaller. Yes, it'll be faster, but it'll perform exactly the same function and probably even better than what we're doing at the moment. And that became a driving factor for us to start putting together a new AV system. And then we had to find a name. And so we came up with Quicksilver, because Quicksilver is the old name for mercury. And mercury is what hatters used to use, and it used to drive them bad. So that's how we got up. That's how we came up with Quicksilver. That's where the name came from, and that's where the concept came from.
Well, a very clever name and a very clever concept. And I know one of the things that Quicksilver boasts is that it eliminates the need for many cables and components. Can you tell me how that's done?
So one of the things that we did not want to do is to try to go for streaming. Obviously, it causes all kind of bandwidth restrictions and bandwidth problems and that kind of thing. So the way Quicksilver works is that all of the content, be it video, audio, randomizing audio, DMX, lighting control, interactives, whatever it is, the content is stored on the device. And the only thing that we're sending to and fro over the wireless network, or mostly, normally, I should say, wireless network. Like I said, there is a possibility to wire it, but why would you? But the only thing that we're sending over the wireless network is commands. So do something, have something happen. Or if you got like buttons or a motion detector, the motion detector will detect motion, wirelessly send a command to the show controller that says, hey, I've got motion. And then the wireless, and then the show controller will wirelessly send a command to the lighting controller, the audio controller, the video controller, something that controls a mechanical device, whatever that is, and basically kick things off that need to happen. So the only other thing that the wireless interface is used for is for updating of content. So one of the things that Quicksilver also does is it does power management, which again is handled wirelessly. So it's very cheap and easy for us to integrate things. For example, if a fabricator has cabinetry which has got lights in, which have lights in, that kind of thing, we can turn that on and off as well. And when we turn the system off at night, Tea Party, which is the control system, will start turning things off, and then it'll say, hey, I got new information for you, hang on a minute. It'll turn everything else off, and then it'll go to all the units that have media updates. It will wirelessly update all of the media as relevant, and then it will turn those units off. So tomorrow morning you have new content. And the only other thing that we can do is that if you want to update content immediately, then you can obviously press a button and make that happen during the day. But basically what we're trying to do is to reduce the amount of traffic on the wireless network to the point where it is immediate and it is never an issue. And that is what we're using the wireless network for.
Tea Party is in the Mad Hatter, I presume?
It's in the same league, I'm afraid, yes. Yes,
How?
nothing to do with politics.
Okay. How does Quicksilver fit into the overall AV system in that case?
So Quicksilver is an AV system. And so if you're looking at the average kind of things that you want to be able to do with an AV system, Quicksilver will handle all of it. So there is a show controller, there's video, audio. What is different with the audio is that we can actually randomize audio environments so that we can create non-repeating audio environments for all kind of different venues. There is I/O, buttons, motion detectors, RFID sensors, barcode readers, relay outputs, solid state drive output, motor controllers. You can even put a pH and an acidity sensor on the input if you wanted to. I mean, basically whatever you want for inputs and outputs. We have a rotary device where you can go through video frame by frame, forwards or in reverse. That has got a couple of additional features that are really nice. We have DMX control for lighting and interactivity and a host of other things. So basically, it really is a complete AV system, and we're adding to it as we're going along. We're currently working on a couple of new additions that we're really excited about. Related to, well, one of them in particular is related to improving ADA support, but it goes way further than that. So there's a lot that comes with that. And here's the big difference. Not only is the price point very aggressive, but we are particularly looking at integrators and even small AV companies, fabricators, people like that. We have a facility called Quicksilver Equalizer, which would help us implement a AV system and reduce costs, not only for the client, but in the case of fabricators and people like that, actually improve their margins at the same time. Because the approach towards putting a Quicksilver in is completely different. We don't need to hang all of the monitors. You know, there's local labor that can do that. And so so Quicksilver not only provides a complete AV system, and the only thing that is really excluded are complex interactives, but we can integrate those within the Quicksilver ecosystem so that it really is a fully integrated system. And the good thing is that we don't have to struggle with pieces of equipment from here, there, and everywhere. We already know they're going to work together and they talk together. So implementation is so simple. And when you actually look at things like the video server, it literally is that big. It has an HDMI connector on. You plug it in the back of a monitor and it's done. You know, you put the power supply in, plug it in the back of a monitor, job done. That's the end of it. And for smaller systems, even the show controller, which is part of the system, is the same thing. It's a small unit. You plug it in the back of any of your video monitors that you have around the space, or even a projector. You switch from HDMI 1, which would normally be used, to HDMI 2. You can now see your show controller. You do your programming with the Bluetooth wireless keyboard. Once you're done, you switch it back to HDMI 1, and you can walk away and everything is taken care of. So, you know, one of the interesting things on one of the first systems that we put in was that everybody else was looking at 2 racks worth of equipment. And literally we came to site with all of the AV system, including Wi-Fi, including power management, everything in a small tool case that the guys had actually checked as checked luggage. So 2 racks eliminated. So you can imagine, you know, what it's doing to cost, what it's doing to integration cost, what it's doing to installation cost. This is completely different from anything that we've done over the past 40 years, realistically, and it is that far advanced. It basically does everything, and of course, the level of flexibility that we had means that it works perfectly with our facial recognition-based media delivery control systems. Because we can do things like support 100 subtitle languages and change those on the fly while the video is running. We can change the audio track and go from English to Spanish to French to Chinese to whatever you want to go to, 20 languages, and we can just alternate between them as the video is running. So if somebody walks away and somebody else walks up, we don't even need to interrupt the video stream if we don't want to do that, and we can just continue running and change to a different language. So there's a whole bunch of stuff like this which just hasn't been seen before, and we can just do, you know, from scratch. It's part of the system. It's just there.
Well, we'll certainly be covering more about Quicksilver and about MAD Systems on Commercial Integrator. If anyone wants to learn about it, what's your website?
The best website to start with is madsystems.com or mad.systems. Either will work. That'll get you there. Then there is one that is called madquicksilver.com. There is QSEQ, QSEQ.com, which is Quicksilver Equalizer, for those who want to partner on installations. And that is basically where you're going to find all of the information on Quicksilver. But start with madsystems.com. It's all accessible through there.
Okay, Maris Ensing of MAD Systems, thank you so much for joining us for 3 questions.
Thanks for your time.